Hi, my name is Michael Walsh, and I'm the chairman of a company called Lysulin. And I'm very happy to be here today with the founder of the company and the inventor of our lead product, Dr. John Bird. John, how are you doing today?
Great, thank you, Michael. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
So, John, you spoke earlier about the fact that diabetes is really a very significant healthcare problem. We have 325 million American citizens. How big of an issue is pre-diabetes and type 2, type 1 diabetes?
Well, the total number of people in the United States with diabetes is around 30 million, and about 8 million of those are type 1 diabetes, and the remainder 20 million are people with type 2 diabetes, many of whom don't know they have type 2 diabetes. They've not been diagnosed yet. And then on top of that, there's this huge population of people who have pre-diabetes, and there's about 80 to 100 million people in the United States who have pre-diabetes. And again, that only gets diagnosed if their doctor happens to be wise enough to measure their A1C, and it tells them that they have pre-diabetes, or they go to an eye exam and their doctor sees they have eye problems, and they'll know they're on the path to becoming a type 2
diabetic.
Diabetes.
So literally 1 in 4, even 1 in 3 people in the United States have pre-diabetes or type 2 or type 1 diabetes.
Exactly. And type 1 diabetes is different than type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease where your body destroys your pancreas, and when you destroy the pancreas you can no longer make insulin, and therefore the glucose stays high in your blood and doesn't get into your bloodstream. And so people with type 1 diabetes have to take insulin shots. People with type 2 diabetes, I always say, my opinion is that type 2 diabetes is a diet disease, and that's totally because of the crazy food pyramid that is generated by our government. In 1980, they made the first food pyramid, which asked people to eat high levels of carbohydrates and low amounts of fat and protein. That pyramid is totally upside down, because if you look at what has happened since 1980, the number of people with diabetes has skyrocketed, and that's a result.
As have the levels of obesity.
Exactly.
You know, if you think back 20, 30, 40 years, we were all taught this food pyramid, which had a significant portion of our diet was supposed to be carbohydrates. And then there were some vegetables, but there was a very small amount of protein and fat.
The reasoning behind that, I believe, came from the food industry, the grain industry. They wanted to make a lot of corn and wheat, and therefore people should eat a lot of cereal. So the government wanted to support our farmers, and they put together this pyramid, and in 1980. And if you look at the growth of obesity in our country and the growth in diabetes, first of all, they match each other. And ever since 1980, that has gone up dramatically, because when you eat carbohydrates, they turn into glucose, and glucose either gets stored in your liver as glycogen or it goes to fat. And so we now have an American population where we have 100 million people with diabetes and pre-diabetes. So we end up in a country that's obese, has diabetes, hooked on multiple prescription drugs, and still sick. I mean, it's just a terrible situation that could be. I believe there's a solution, and the solution is to have a more rational diet and exercise recommendation from our government. And if people followed a diet recommendation that actually dramatically reduced the amount of carbohydrates in their diet, that you would see, along with lifestyle changes like exercise and maybe intermittent fasting and supplementation with nutritional supplements, because when they process food, they process out a lot of the ingredients that are important for our bodies to work properly. So I'm a big believer now in nutritional supplements.